In today's news, Thai scientists develop an anti-COVID nasal spray. Hotels are being asked to refund the costs of day 5 PCR testing, and the Thai cabinet discusses how to mitigate the fallout from Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Details on these stories coming up in this program. You're watching Thailand News Today, bringing you the top headlines in Thailand and beyond. And in our first story, a new anti-COVID-19 nasal spray that is being developed by Thai scientists is expected to be available to the public later this year. In studies using lab animals, the nasal spray has been shown to block the virus from entering the body. The Health Systems Research Institute, Silpakorn University, Chulalongkorn University, the government pharmaceutical organization, and an unnamed private bioscience organization are working together to produce the spray. Since the outbreak of the coronavirus 2 years ago, a group of researchers have been working on the spray with the funding from the business sector and the state-run HSRI. A collaboration agreement has been inked to manufacture the anti-COVID-19 nasal spray, which could be a topic of global study. The research has advanced to the point where a prototype antibody has been obtained and patented. The invention is being handed to the commercial sector, which is doing medical studies to meet the criteria required for registration with the Thai FDA. According to the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine at Chulalongkorn University, the spray is expected to be ready to buy in the third quarter of this year. The spray is based on a previous study that used a monoclonal antibody collected from recovered COVID-19 patients. With the government scrapping the day 5 requirements for test-and-go travelers, over 2,000 hotels and their partner hospitals or test centers are being asked to refund the costs of a night stay with PCR testing. Under the revised entry requirements, travelers can take a self-administered antigen test instead of a PCR test on the 5th day of their stay, and they are no longer required to book a stay at an approved hotel while they wait for the results. The hotels are being asked to voluntarily refund the costs of the room or at least convert the prepaid booking into credits. Hoteliers are also being asked to work with their partner hospitals and testing centers to refund the 2,000 baht for a PCR test. The Thai government has said they will not make it mandatory to issue refunds for the test-and-go packages, but an official from the Tourism Authority of Thailand urges that some hotels have said they need a legal order from the government as their cancellation policies do not cover the refund. According to the TAT Deputy Governor for Marketing and Communications, Siripakorn Chiyosamut, if a full refund is not possible, they will be asked to convert the payments into credits. The day 5 requirements for a hotel stay with PCR testing was put in place earlier this year due to the rapid spread of the Omicron variant in Thailand. However, the day 5 requirements discouraged a number of travelers from planning a trip to Thailand and then were scrapped by the government, taking effect today. Travelers must still stay at an approved hotel on their first night in Thailand while they wait for their results from an arrival PCR test. Siripakorn says a total of 77,851 people have registered for entry and have already paid for a hotel room and second PCR test. He added that around 20 to 30% are locals who will most likely ask for a refund for their hotel room as they have homes in Thailand. The Thai cabinet is discussing a number of measures aimed at mitigating the fallout from Russia's invasion of Ukraine. A government spokesman says Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha will meet with officials to discuss the impact on the economy, in particular the global energy prices and instabilities in equity and cryptocurrency markets. Thailand's energy minister says officials continue to monitor developments closely, and while Thailand's energy imports are not affected, the government will increase stocks to ensure the public is not impacted. Meanwhile, a report says that Thailand's Finance Minister Don Pramudwinai has welcomed news of talks between Ukraine and Russia and hopes that the international community will cooperate seriously to resolve the conflict and have it contained. The Finance Ministry also plans to hold talks with the Bank of Thailand to prepare for any future impact on the Thai economy. Minister Akom Thomphitiyaphaisit says talks will focus on the decision by the US and its allies to cut off some Russian banks from the SWIFT financial system, crippling their access to international transactions.
You love the Thaiger. Now subscribe to our new YouTube lifestyle channel, Bounce.
Thailand's food, travel, challenges, and just about anything that isn't news. Only on Bounce. Link in the description below.
A friend of the Thai actress who was found dead in the Chao Phraya River in Bangkok reenacted the celebrity's fall off the speedboat. She claims the actress Tangmo fell into the river while she was trying to urinate off the back of the speedboat. However, many people, including Tangmo's mother, suspect foul play. Tangmo was also wearing a bodysuit, which would have been difficult to take off. Officers now say they will use lie detectors when questioning those who were on the boat. One of Tangmo's friends, identified as San, who was on the boat the night of the incident, was asked to reenact the fall at the Pibun Songkram Pier. Reenactments are a typical practice in Thai law enforcement, sometimes attended by a crowd of reporters and locals. Reports in Thai media say San could not remember exactly where her friend had fallen. San wore a life jacket and went onto a speedboat, which was the same model as the one Tangmo had fallen off of. Police drove the boat to a spot under the Rama 8 bridge where friends claimed they had been taking photos before the accident happened. San then reenacted how Tangmo went to the back of the boat and how she held her legs to urinate, showing that she fell into the river. Thai media says the police will question more witnesses, as well as 3 local fishermen who say they saw the boat that night. The speedboat's propeller will also be removed and taken in for a DNA screening. Other evidence found on the boat, including wine bottles, will also be examined. Political activist and human rights lawyer Anon Nampa has been granted bail by the Bangkok South Criminal Court. The Rasadon pro-democracy group leader has been in custody for over 200 days on charges of lèse-majesté and other charges related to political protests. His temporary release was tweeted by Noraset Nanongtum of Thai Lawyers for Human Rights. According to him, the Bangkok South Criminal Court says Anon offered his own bail terms, which include refraining from doing anything to insult, criticize, or otherwise defame the monarchy, as well as not participating in any activities that could cause unrest in Thailand. According to a report, Anon has been in and out of prison 7 times in the last year. In August of 2020, he became the first person to publicly call for reform of the monarchy. Noraset says bail was set at 200,000 baht and Anon has been released until May the 28th. At the end of the period, he has the right to reapply, but equally the court can revoke bail at any stage if Anon fails to comply with the agreed conditions. Last week, fellow pro-democracy activist Parit Chiwarak was also released on 3 months bail under similar conditions. He too has spent over 200 days in detention on similar charges. And that concludes our report for now. Thailand News Today will be back tomorrow for more news. Meanwhile, you're not up to date on the Thaiger.